You are welcome to our channel. Don't forget to like, to share, and also to subscribe. TINUBU take over FUBARA job. Send 1.48 trillion naira 2025 Rivers budget to National Assembly for approval, according to reports from Leadership newspaper on Thursday, May 22nd. President Bola Tinubu has formally requested the National Assembly to approve a new budget of 1.48 trillion for Rivers State in response to the Supreme Court's decision to void the state's fiscal appropriation. The request, submitted to the federal legislature on Thursday, is part of an emergency intervention following the legal nullification on the state's original budget and the imposition of emergency rule in Rivers. The president's letter outlined the urgent need to ensure continuity in governance, public services, and infrastructure development in the state. According to the proposal, 324 billion naira has been earmarked for infrastructure development, reflecting the federal government's priority on rebuilding and expanding critical assets such as roads, housing, and energy systems. The health sector is expected to receive 166 billion naira to support the revitalization of hospitals, clinics, and primary health care centers, as well as provide medical equipment and staffing. The president also proposed an allocation of 75.6 billion naira to the education sector, focusing on improving school infrastructure, teacher training, and access to quality learning across the state. Additionally, the sum of 31.4 billion naira was proposed for agriculture, with projections that this investment will create approximately 6,000 new jobs across various value chains in the sector. President Tinubu, in his appeal to lawmakers, stressed the urgency of the budget's passage, describing it as crucial to stabilizing governance in Rivers State and addressing the needs of its residents. This proposal is designed not only to restore normalcy in Rivers, but to fast-track development and provide much-needed relief for the people, he stated. He urged the National Assembly to expedite deliberations and ensure swift approvals, noting that time is of the essence given the state's current administrative and legal circumstances. Well, those are some of the things that are going on now since Rivers State is under a state of emergency that is administered by a sole administrator. So the president is the one that is in charge, and the man he has put there, who happened to be the sole administrator, Vice Admiral Ibas, is the one that is going to, work for the president in that state. I think his job is like that of the FCT minister in Nyesom Wike. He's standing in the place of the governor, which this time around is the president. Then it is expected that the National Assembly, of course, will have to pass the budget because there is no way the sole administrator will run without finance. And not only that, because of the suspension of democratic, institutions in the state, a lot of setback has come. I think since March, this is May, and then if there is no budget to work with, it means Rivers State has been on a standstill financially, economically, even administratively too, even for the past 3 months. And this ought not to be. So for continuity and for people even to experience, good governance and also the day-to-day activity of government to continue, because of course on a monthly basis the injection of funds into the economy of the state gives lives to the economy and also the people and the players that are there. So there is necessity, or that is on the president and the National Assembly, to make sure that the budget for that state be passed with very fast alacrity, knowing fully well that there is no way the solar administrator can work without the financial instrument. So we look at the budget, is a total of 1.48 trillion naira. That is for Rivers State. And they are doing this in response to the Supreme Court's decision to void the State 2025 Fiscal Appropriation. That was the budget that was presented by FUBARA, in which he presented before 5 lawmakers, the factional lawmakers, but the House and the Supreme Court had nullified it, that it ought not to be. I think we don't need to remember all those things anymore, because there is appalling, it's an embarrassment even to our nation, that a governor will just stand up and go and stay before 5 people and begin to present budgets, irrespective of whatever might have happened. Because before the eye of the governor, since the 27 lawmakers, other lawmakers have defected, they have lost their seat. Therefore, he has no other choice than to wait, to place the budget before the remaining 5. Well, it will have been a good stuff if the advisor of the governor would have told him, replace those 27 first, so that you have a full house. Then you can now present your budget. But in the situation whereby the governor is presenting a budget to a less than one third of a national assembly, I mean a house assembly, is embarrassing. But at least now that there is a state of emergency, the National Assembly has taken over the responsibility of the State House of Assembly. There is going to be a quorum, and then they will also, of course, pass the budget, so that there can be, activities again in the economy of Rivers State. Of course, the president, outlined the urgent need just to ensure continuity in governance, of course, for public services and infrastructure development in the state. And according to the proposal, the president is, earmarking 324 billion naira, for infrastructure development, which is very, very good. And also, the government is also, earmarking 166 billion naira, even to the health sector, to take care of everything around that sector. And also 75.6 billion naira is for education sector, and 31.4 billion naira was proposed for agriculture. In the issue of agriculture, they have a projection that the investment they are bringing in, and that's 31.4 billion naira, will eventually create an approximately 6,000 new jobs, because I know they were trying to look at agriculture value chains across all the value chains in the sector, believing that more hands can come in and there will be more jobs available. Thereby, it's going to also boost the economy of Rivers State. It's also a state that is collecting 13% derivation because of the oil wells that are in that state. So all this together will help even the states to move forward, also to grow. Very, very important. But one thing is also germane, that the president had to tell the House of Assembly to be very quick in passing the budget. They should not, they stress the urgency of the budget passage, and we are believing that they will live up to the understanding that the president is, expecting from them. And at the end of the day, normalcy can return to Rivers State. Keep liking, make sure you subscribe, don't forget to share.